Hey,
All right,
John.
we're going to have to get John Lavra on board via teleconference. He wasn't able to log in via WebEx.
Is the latest user, are you there, John?
I'm here now.
Okay, you're user 9. Noted.
Since John is on the phone, can we get started?
The only other director we were waiting for was Director Wood. Let's give him a minute. He wasn't able to log on.
Okay.
So I resent him some information.
Okay.
Wow. Turn off the speakers. Should go. Thank you. Should try
John, are you on speakerphone by chance? It seems to be echoing through your phone, so I had to mute you for a second there.
It came up. My video came up.
Yep, it's definitely getting feedback there. Sorry, John, I had to mute you again.
Okay. Yeah, all of a sudden the video came up, and so I guess I was getting the feedback there. I'm just going to stay on the phone because it's not getting through.
Ah, gotcha. Okay, you're clear now.
See, Director Wood has joined. Director, if you want to just chime in and let us know that you're there, okay?
Yes, I'm here. Good day.
Oh,
Sorry.
wonderful. Welcome. No, it's okay. Okay, so looking at my notes, I do believe we have all directors, all chiefs, and John Lavra on. So let's go ahead and begin.
Great. Good evening. This is the Board of Directors regular meeting today, Thursday, April 9th. I call this meeting to order. Ms. Pania, do we need to call roll since you just stated?
I'll go ahead and call roll, and that way everyone will have a chance to test their microphones.
Great.
Director Gould.
Here.
Orzali.
Here.
Wood.
Here.
Kelly.
Here.
Sailors.
Here.
Clark.
Here.
Jones.
Here.
And Director Sheets.
Here.
John Lavra, I have you as present.
Here.
All right, and Chief Harms?
Here.
Okay, everyone is accounted for.
Great. This is the Metro Cable announcement, the open session meeting videotape for cable cast on Metro Cable 14, replay on Sunday, April 12th at 9 a.m. and Monday, April 13th at 6 p.m. on Channel 14. Webcast at www.metrocable.tv. This is the public's opportunity to discuss matters of public interest within district's jurisdiction, including items on or not on the agenda. Madam Speaker, is there any, Madam Clerk, is there any speakers?
I did not receive any speaker notifications. However, Art, if you could unmute all of our callers to make sure there's no one from the public who has joined us and is wanting to comment.
Copy that. Unmuting and everybody in just a moment.
Okay. And Art, while you're doing that, I'll remind everyone that we do have a closed session tonight. You, all directors and John Lavra should have received the separate call-in information. So when we do adjourn to closed session, there will be some time for you to transition to that call. And I will do another roll call in that closed session.
Okay. Everybody.
Has anyone joined us who's wishing to publicly comment? Hearing none, I'll go ahead and turn it back over to Director Sheets.
Great, moving on to items. Any questions? No questions, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move consent.
Second. This is Director Clark. I'll second.
Great, sounds like we have a second. Can you please call the roll?
Director Gould,
Aye.
Orzali,
Aye.
Wood,
Aye.
Kelly,
Aye.
Sailors,
Aye.
Clark,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
and Sheets.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Moving on to action items, we have one action item, Families First Coronavirus Response Act. Chief Castellini.
Yes, good evening, directors. So this evening, we're talking about the Families First Coronavirus Response Act, also known as the FFCRA. It was signed into federal law March 18th and went into effect April 1st. So under the FFCRA, the district is required to provide additional leave, paid leave, to certain employees who are unable to work for specific reasons related to the COVID-19. So under the FFCRA, qualified employees are either eligible for paid sick time or expanded family leave. Some could be eligible for both. Under both of these leaves, there's different criteria in which the pay is calculated. Some of them, there's a max of 80 hours for the paid sick leave at their regular rate with a cap of about $511 per day. And those that are eligible for the expanded family leave could take up to 12 weeks leave, which would be 2/3 of their regular pay. However, the needs of the district in responding to COVID-19, we have to have adequate staffing levels. So the district has decided to take what's known as the emergency response exemption, exempting our emergency first responders. That way we can keep our station staff full-time. So we've got to exclude them from this law. So far, we have about 6 or 7 employees that have signed up for the emergency sick leave on this. Currently, we don't have a good fiscal impact because we're not really sure the total amount of hours that will be taken for this. I'm sure you might have some questions, but we'll be asking you to approve the attached resolution authorizing the district to support the Family First Coronavirus Response Act. Are there any questions on this? Okay, seeing no questions, I'll turn it back over to Board President. Thank you very much.
No questions. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move staff's recommendation.
I'll second it.
Great. We have a first and a second. Can you please call the roll?
Director Gould,
Aye.
Orzali,
Aye.
Wood,
Aye.
Kelly,
Aye.
Sailors,
Aye.
Clark,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
and Sheets.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Great. Moving on to reports, President report. I do not have anything to report. Moving on to Fire Chief's report, Chief Harms.
Good evening, directors. It has been a busy 2 weeks. First off, thank you to all of you for your texts and support over the last 2 weeks. It has been a busy time. First off, I'd like to talk about the membership. The membership is doing a great job out there. Overall, it has been very positive, great service delivery, and they really have been able to adapt to the changes in the environment out there. One of the things that we asked them this week was to give us information on some of the best practices that they had implemented in the individual stations, and they are doing just a great job of doing that. This has become, Director Gould had said this is the way of the future a few months ago, and it definitely has become the way of my communication here recently. Over the last 2 weeks, we continue to have meetings with the county fire chiefs so that we are consistent and we are all dealing with some of the same issues and dealing with it consistently. Each one of the shift commanders invited me this week to come on to a conference call with them and their BCs, kind of an open question and answer type time, questions about where we're at, some of the things that they were hearing in the field, some of the information that they would like to hear, and then a lot of just positive stuff back from them. We have a weekly Sacramento Regional Emergency Planning, or the EOC, has a weekly update with us. It includes public health. It includes the county LEMSA, the OES from the county, and then gives us an update on the EOC and the team over there. One of the big items that they have been doing for us is ordering all the logistics of PPE and the supplies for PPE. Twice a week on Tuesdays and Fridays, we have a Zoom conference call with all the managers. Normally, it's a meeting that we have every 2 weeks, but we have it twice a week. We go around the table, talk to the different areas, the different managers, talk about the membership in their areas, what things they've been able to accomplish, any challenges that they've had, and really an update if they have anybody that is not feeling well or that is not doing well. What else on there? We turn out an incident action plan. The emergency operation team does one every 2 days. It's an expanded plan that has a number of tips. It has a number of information, any updates that have come out, any changes that have come out. That comes out the evening before the next shift comes on duty. Some notification to the members over the last 2 weeks. We started temperature screenings with guidelines, and we document those at the start of every shift. Notifications to the memberships on maintaining their physical and mental health from Coach Gallagher. We've had update on how do we track exposures, the testing of membership, what to do if they think they have been exposed. And the last bulletin that came out this week was about the staffing of our mobile integrated health unit. The PIO has been very busy. Some of it you have seen on the front side of it with information that is going out as far as the district, what we're doing, answering just a lot of questions that are coming in through social media. But one of the other things that they have been doing is working closely with Rancho Cordova. And a lot of what it has to do with the really a Russian population, some of the churches taking a lot of the information that we have, our COVID-19 page on our website, and converting that to multiple languages, and working with the Rancho Cordova to be able to get that information out and to the folks out there. Last two things, earlier this week, we sat down and really were taking a hard look at the budget, looking at really the end of this year's budget cycle. What things did we have on there that were planned? What things will we accomplish? What things will we not accomplish? Making sure that anything that is related to COVID-19 is being documented, and so we can look for reimbursement. We look at next year's budget. This is the cycle on this week. Everybody had to turn in their pre-budget prelims. We're going through that and looking at that, and then really looking at what is the budget going to look like in 2 years. And we'll talk more to you all in the future here. Moving forward, our priorities still remain the same. Service delivery is our number one priority. And with that, we just got to keep our members healthy, keep them safe, look at any new technology that's out there, keeping up on our PPE supplies, looking to see what is out there, if there's any changes. Maintaining the communication. If anything, the best things that we can do is make sure that the membership is getting all the information of what is happening. Looking at physical and mental health. And then just the last thing is just trying to forecast out in front to get ahead of the curve of where we're at for moving forward. With that, I'm going to ask Chief Casantini just to talk real quick. We're going to come back at the next board meeting with another policy for the membership. Greg, you just want to talk real quick on that, what we're coming up with?
Yes, Chief, thank you. I'll keep this brief. Directors, being that the FFCRA does not include our firefighters, we do realize that some of the firefighters may experience a hardship, such as finding childcare or getting the time off needed to take care of somebody that has the COVID-19. So we're going to be developing a policy you'll see at the next board meeting related to hardship leave for firefighters. So I'll go into more details in a couple of weeks, but it's going to allow the district and the fire chief to allow a special circumstance to put an employee on some paid leave if they need that. So you'll see that in a few weeks. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Greg. That ends my report, unless anybody has any questions for me.
Are there any questions for the chief?
Chief, this is Gay Jones, and I was a bit curious if now would be an appropriate time, or perhaps to Chief Bridge, about some questions for our mobile integrated health, our CCRUs. When would it be, now or perhaps after Chief Bridge?
Yeah, happy to answer those.
Yeah, we're both on, so why don't we just go through them?
Okay, no, just some quick ones here. Now, where are we getting the PAs or the nurses to staff that if we do not have a sworn firefighter who also happens to be a PA or a nurse? I don't think we have any physicians.
Yeah, Chief, if I may, I'm happy to speak to that. That was part of my board report for tonight.
Go ahead.
Okay. Hello, directors, President Sheets, thank you. This is Eric Bridge, Deputy Chief Operations. I was on my report for the operations report. I did have update for the Community Care Response Unit, as Director Jones referred to as we call the CCRU. That was a rapidly developing program over the last week, but it's been worked on now. If I may, just back and provide background. It's been in progress for about 10 years, mobile integrated health. But due to the pandemic, it's actually was able to be pushed over the top. It's been very close to being activated. And but due to this pandemic, we were able to actually implement this with the assistance with the other, and also with some of the local hospitals. So currently, sits today, we have 3 of these community care response units in the system. They have radio identifiers, CC102, CC109, and CC71. Currently, as it sits today, Cosumnes Fire and Metro Fire have the units in service. Sacramento Fire Department is also working on staffing and putting 1 to 2 units into service as well. They're still working through some of those staffing challenges that they may have, but they'll soon be on board to assist. At least that is what our hope is. Metro Fire has 2 units in the system. Cosumnes has 1. Ours are CC1 and 109. CC109 went into service on April the 1st. CC102 will go into service on Monday. The units are staffed with a physician from UC Davis, a resident physician, and a firefighter paramedic. Metro Fire, the unique portion to Metro Fire is we have, as many of you are familiar with, Captain Scott Perryman is also a licensed physician assistant. This allowed us to get the program up, be the first unit to have in the system, because he was already an advanced level provider. And with his credentials, we were able to get that unit up last week. In conjunction with our medical director, Dr. Mackey, is working with the resident physicians out of UC Davis. We're able to stand up a couple more units. Again, those are the ones I was referring to, CC102, and that'll be standing up Monday. And then CC71 from Cosumnes went into service today. Those units are staffed. Those other two units will be with a resident physician and a firefighter paramedic. Our 109 unit had been staffed with a physician assistant and a firefighter paramedic. We will be moving Scott Perryman, our physician assistant, around to train the other physicians to work with the firefighter paramedics, because his unique familiarity with how the fire service works and the 911 system works. So it's been a rapidly evolving process. Their main priorities, their operational priorities, is to respond to locations identified by the Sacramento County Public Health Department to provide individual and group assessments and testing for the COVID patients. They will also respond to locations in addition to 911 crews, our first responder crews, for some of the patients that we believe are potential corona patients. We also have our members have the ability to do some COVID testing for non-public health assignments as well. And so they are also going to have the opportunities to go to areas where some of our more vulnerable and high risk patients do not have the ability to access the 911 system. So that's kind of just a snapshot of where we're at right now. I have more information to share with you and other parts of what our operations division is doing. But with that, I would probably turn it back to you to see if that's answering some of your questions.
Yes, thank you, Chief. Please, and I am totally behind this, the mobile healthcare, mobile integrated healthcare. So my questions are not meant, it's more for information, nowhere near any type of critique. I think it's marvelous that we're doing this. It has been in the works for quite a while, and I'm sorry it took such dire circumstances to get it into flight, but it's flying now. I just have another quick question. Where are COVID-19 tests coming from?
Those are coming from the Department of Public Health. So,
is that the county, sir?
Yes, it is. So the test kits have been, they're provided by the Sacramento County Public Health Department. And you've also may have heard in the news that Cal Expo provides a drive-through testing location. They have essentially budgeted about 500 of those testing kits per day at the Cal Expo area.
Mm-hmm.
In addition,
go ahead.
Go ahead. In addition to that, they've also allocated many of the test kits to our community care response units, because they understand not everybody has the ability to access a vehicle and get to the drive-through location at Cal Expo. So it's kind of a combination. We're the mobile testing sites. The Cal Expo is for those who have the ability to drive through the drive-through testing sites.
No, I think that's a totally appropriate response, and I just wanted to make sure that the mobile units can get that access, that they're not denied access to the tests to use where they deem appropriate. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. The test kits currently right now we're doing okay, but there is potential for those to run low, but that's being coordinated from local to state to national and federal type of resources. So currently we're sitting in a position where we're not out of the test kits right now. And CC 109 with Captain Scott Perryman has done, and I don't have the updated numbers, but I know there was up in somewhere between 15 and 20 of these swabs samples that he's provided, if not more than that already. So he's been that unit has been extremely busy. So the additional unit, C71, who came into service today, and CC 102 going into service Monday will be plenty. So with that, I would also like to just let you know that our emergency operations team, as Chief Harms alluded to earlier, is doing just a phenomenal amount of work. They're not providing our members with a tremendous amount of information to keep us current, which is always decreases anxiety levels is when we're able to share information. But they've also been sharing information at the state and national levels. So speaking with Chief House at the who's our lead on the emergency operations team, they've been having conversations with fire service agencies from Metro-Dade, Florida, all the way to Southern California, multiple agencies in Southern California. So I can assure you we're at the tip of all of this in terms of what we're doing. And the great news is because of the information sharing, when we find that we're not, we're quickly get back to it for best practices. So whether that's best practices for our members, keeping them safe and practicing good hygiene habits on during and after the call, before the call. So very excited about the information that's being provided across the nation, and all in the hands of our emergency operations. And then, of course, I just go on and on about our crew members. They're showing up to work there each and every day too. So I know there's some stories out there, but some people are not able to show up to work due to being ill or for various different reasons. But our members are showing up every day, and we've been able to staff all of our resources every day. So that's been good news. And lastly, shout out to our support services division with Chief Shannon and his team, because none of this couldn't really happen without the support from the IT division and fleet and communication. So that concludes my report, unless you have any further questions for me.
Any questions for Chief Bridge? Thank you, Chief. Moving on to the firefighters local 522 report. Captain McGoldrick, are you on the line?
I am. Good evening. President and directors, I don't have much to report tonight other than, as the chiefs have already stated, we are 100% staffed and we are committed to providing the highest level of service to the community. That's all I have for tonight.
Great, thank you. Any questions for Captain McGoldrick? Thank you, sir. Moving on to committee and delegate reports. The executive committee, there is no meeting scheduled. Moving on to communications center, JPA. Is Chief Shannon on the line?
Yeah, I'm here. Good evening. No report for the Comm Center JPA. Next meeting will be April 14th.
Thank you, sir. Moving on to California Fire and Rescue Training, JPA. Chief Shannon.
Yep. Hello again. We have not met for some time. Our April 16th meeting has been canceled due to the coronavirus. We have rescheduled that meeting for June 18th. End of report.
Thank you, sir. Moving on to Finance and Audit Committee, Director Rosali.
Yes, there was a meeting scheduled for April. However, noting that there's at this time no scheduled meeting for the Finance and Audit Committee.
Thank you, sir. Moving on to Policy and Committee, Director Gould.
Due to the corona, the Policy Committee has not met, and we look forward to that new policy that was presented this evening so we can have a conversation about that.
Great, thank you. All right, moving on to board members' questions and comments. Director Jones.
Thank you. No comment, just everyone hang in there, hang in there.
Director Clark.
No comment. I'm just hoping that our members are well protected as I know they are, and just pray that they do not become infected with any of this with this craziness that's going on out there. That's all I have.
Yes. Director Wood.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to make sure Captain Perryman gets recognized. He's been working on this project for years, and he's done a great job. So I'm really proud to see him get that, be one of the ones that's getting it off the ground and getting it rolling. And beyond that, just stay safe.
Director Orzali.
I just want to congratulate and thank everyone in Metro Fire for the job they're doing. It is critically important, so thank you.
Director Gould.
I want to echo my colleagues and their comments relative to the current situation. And I also want to thank the leadership of this organization for taking the initiative in figuring out ways where families that are impacted and our employees that are impacted, we can do what we can from a policy standpoint to minimize that impact. So kudos to all of you for thinking of that. And I look forward to getting that policy discussed and implemented as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Sailors.
I'd just like to thank everyone for their reports tonight and just hang in there and stay. And thank you for showing up and doing your jobs every day. Thank you.
Director Kelly.
I would like to just say once again, I'm awed by the work that this organization does, from the leadership to the people that make the building clean. So everybody stay safe, and I will be looking forward to the day when we get to meet in person again.
All right. Like I've always said, going last is never any fun, but I too want to echo all of the comments from the board members, especially Director Wood. I was fortunate to work side by side with Captain Perryman, and I'm really excited that he's spearheading this. With that, we will be moving into closed session and then returning to the regular meeting after. The teleconference line is open, so please join now, and Melissa Pania will call roll once we get into closed session.